Welcome to Interior Design Diaries. Today I'm speaking with Amy from Southern Belly Kitchen. She is a chef and caterer, and I had the great honor to design her kitchen. We've also done many projects together, and she has a confession today. So stay tuned. Let's hear what she has to say. Hi, Amy.
Hi, Lindsay.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
You are an amazing caterer. Are you more of a chef or a caterer? How do you,
I think it's hand in hand.
It's
I'm
both.
a chef, not classically trained, but certainly through experience. And cater. That's my
that's
job.
what you
But
do.
A caterer is typically there's a chef behind the operation, and
That's
I'm
you.
both.
You're all of it.
Yes.
So you run Southern Belly Kitchen,
Mhm.
and I have tasted your food multiple times, and it's amazing.
Thank you.
And I have helped you design your houses.
Yes.
So let's chat a little bit about that today.
Okay.
So tell me about how you found me, hired me, the whole thing.
I knew that you were a designer. We had always had a vision in our house of opening up the wall in our kitchen. It was a great big giant downstairs, but when you walked in, there was a huge wall.
Yes, and it met you. It
And
was
it
like
met
it was
you.
10 steps in, and it
Yes.
was long.
And then the kitchen was on the back side, and it was a huge kitchen because
Huge.
obviously I used it quite a bit and was excited about that kitchen. So we'd always talked about opening it up. You had done another good friend of ours, Sarah's kitchen, or I know her entire downstairs, I guess, through her house. And I loved what you did there. And it was very just like classic, coastal, and that I would like to, and just sort of like clean, fresh. So when it finally came down to time that we were going to go ahead and take on this kitchen project, you were one of the first people that we called. There was another girl that we called.
That's why I tell everyone, you got to do your due diligence as a homeowner.
Mhm.
This is a business.
Yeah.
You got to figure out who you want and be real clear about it and decisive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good. You did your due diligence.
We did. We got her ideas about how she would have opened things up and how she would have done it. And then we got yours, and it was just really like it was a no-brainer. Yeah. We knew that you had the right vision for what we wanted to do. And it's the house now, I don't live there anymore, but it's spectacular compared to, when we first moved in. And it's really just, the kitchen is the focal point of the home. As soon as you walk in, it's stunning. And then it opens up to, a big, beautiful living area and bumper pool. And then on the other side is, a sitting area, which I love, the 4 chairs we put in there. It's like a conversation area, and where the family spent a lot of time, and I think still does, that's kind of where, you can kind of go and sit and,
you have options.
Conversate. Yeah.
And a comfortable seat.
Yeah.
A lot of houses, I'm really integrating that, because if I come over and hang out with you and you're in the kitchen or whatever, I want a comfortable place to sit. I don't want to be on the bar stool. So I'm like, how would I live in this?
Yeah.
How would I want my, all of you, kids, life, homework, even just iPad time or, on our phones, you need a comfortable seat.
Yeah.
So what's interesting about your lot is that it is on an amazing cul-de-sac, but it's a parallelogram. I was thinking about this as I was like thinking about all the things we would talk about today. And because it's on the cul-de-sac, it has these strange, remember that when we were designing it? It was like, how do we figure this out? So the circulation flow and you working in your kitchen.
Yes.
The impetus for the kitchen design was the cookie sheet.
For sure.
Right?
Absolutely.
And your appliances. You wanted, that was the real reason for you to pick your appliances and your fridge.
I needed full-size sheet pans to be able to go in the ovens. As many of them as possible.
Right.
And that was a big thing, to be able to have the capacity, the ability to do bulk food.
Yeah.
And it feels, it's so beautiful, but it has a commercial feel to it. And, but also very pretty, with the
so
with the
many
appliances.
details.
Yes.
But the circulation flow to me and you and how you were going to cook and then have family running around
Mhm.
at the same time and not have any pinch points where you open your oven door and your fridge and you're
Right.
like going here and you have sometimes 2-3 hours to get it all done.
Yeah.
And if people are in your way, right?
Yeah.
So that was a huge part of how and why we put certain things where we put them.
Yeah.
Based on the structural integrity. Because we tore down that entire wall.
Yep.
We added walls for the pantry,
Yep.
kept the posts.
Yep.
I mean, we did a full on down to the studs.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah. And
Oh
there
my
were a
gosh.
lot of things, like how do we position this, like you're saying, with the angles of the house to where it doesn't look off, because
Right.
you want to line it up with the outside wall, but then at the same time, that's not
Why is this an
exactly
angle?
Yeah.
And you don't
should
want
it
to
go
feel
from the front
weird.
of the house? But
Yeah.
I think we ended up nailing it.
We just sure did. The double dishwashers. I mean, you have
Yes.
all of the appliances.
Yes.
And the way that I think about designing, and we chatted through a lot of this, was you got to get the appliances you need for what you do.
Yes.
Whether you're cooking all day
Mhm.
as your job
Yeah.
or for your family.
Yeah.
And you went with the double fridges and the freezer.
Yep.
And that was so great because we could get them in increments of 6.
Yep.
And we had those conversations. But I always want my clients, including you, to say, okay, this is what I want. And you said, I need the Blue Star commercial kitchen.
Right.
Stove and range.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where it started.
Yeah.
I mean, that was for kitchen design. Usually you put the sink under the window.
Right.
We totally
Yes.
switched it up.
Absolutely.
And
Took
how
out
was
the
it? Yeah, we took out the window
Yeah.
and we put the fridges in front.
Yeah.
We actually which is usually not something I would do, is remove natural light or any
Right.
light that's coming in, but it's flooded by the doors and everything.
Yeah.
So how was it working in this space when we were finished? Yes, it's pretty and it's that
Mhm.
aesthetic, but for me, it's function.
Yeah. I mean, I think we did a really good job of, having, that triangle there with the ovens, the sink, the dishwashers, the fridge. I mean, that was really good. And that island is so big and it's such great workspace. I mean, it worked really well. I mean, the only thing about having a double dishwasher is when you
You've
have
done
two
to
that
it.
you have to unload,
Every
which is
day.
always fun.
Yes.
Because I mean, I load those dishwashers up
Yes.
on the daily.
Yes.
But no, I mean, I think it worked really well. I think the only thing in retrospect, and I mean, it's hard to say because it's such a beautiful piece in the kitchen,
Yeah.
but I was not impressed with the Blue Star oven components.
Really? And how it actually
No.
cooked and performed?
No.
Really?
Kind of steamy on one of them, and one of them made a lot of noise. They just,
Ooh.
I don't know, for me, I was
If you did it again, that would be the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And that was like, you have to have this.
Oh, that was
Like
my
this-
number one.
This is it.
Absolutely.
You're like, I don't care what happens, but I need that.
Absolutely.
Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
I have to say, sometimes that's what happens. It's like you get so and then it's actually the one thing that maybe you didn't want
Yeah.
or end up, working out the best.
But I feel like that it needed to be that way because I needed the big double ovens
Yeah.
the way that they were. And Blue Star was the only place that was really configuring things that way and having the griddle and the heavy, heavy, hot burners that it has. I mean, they are workhorses. And I will say, the stovetop part of it, fantastic. It's just that one of the ovens just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd never wanted to cook in it because it.
Yeah. So you then favored the other one.
Mhm.
Yeah. And that's a shame when you do your whole kitchen. It's kind of
Yeah.
like, oh, bummer. I can't use the
After.
whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So how was the process in terms of design, creative, and how that whole mood boards,
Mhm.
the flow?
I think I think we were all kind of on the same page kind of from the get-go. I think there were a few things here and there that was like, well, is that going to work? I'm not sure that's going to work.
Right.
And just, in my kind of chef mind, knowing how to do it. But I think the process was really good. And I think, one of the things that was so impressive, and I don't think I realized it until really later down the road, is that you weren't just the designer. I mean, you were filling the contract, GC shoes, and you had an incredible team.
The project management.
Yes.
That's a huge component to
Yes.
it. Yeah.
And
I mean, I was at your house every day. I'm like,
Yeah.
hi,
Yeah.
what are we doing?
Hi, I know.
How's your
I
day?
know. And yeah, I mean, I think just, I think at the time, certainly now, I think I took that for granted. How much we got with you and how much knowledge you had. You weren't just a designer coming in and, picking out some pretty wallpaper and pillows and things like that. It wasn't like that.
Yeah.
You really, thought through the process and knew what you were doing. And
Thank
I
you.
think that
You're sweet.
that's, I, I'm going to tell you something. I'm sure you know. So I'm not in that house anymore, but so I moved to our rental property, and you've been in that. You saw that kitchen.
Yeah.
It's tiny. Like it
Right.
was not a workspace.
I think you had me over like, what do I do? And then the rooms.
Yes.
The kids'
it was
rooms.
just it's a really, really small space, and it certainly, wasn't the kitchen at the other house, but at the time that I decided to redo the kitchen, you were still kind of working on the other house.
Yes.
And we were going through some sticky stuff.
Sure.
And so
Church and state.
Yes.
Yep.
So I decided to go with another designer for my kitchen.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
You cheating on me?
I cheated on you. But I
At least you're telling me.
No, but I think that it was in and out because we were friends.
Yeah. Oh,
and because, there is a professional friendship relationship, and I kind of wanted to just keep you out of what was going on with us personally. I think in a way it was a favor to you. And we'll just leave it at that
I get
part.
it. Yes.
But,
thank you.
I really paid the price. I went with someone that I had seen some pretty pictures on her website, and she was new. And I thought, I'll help her. She can help me.
Totally.
And, and hopefully like not pay as much perhaps.
Right. Yeah.
That was really the biggest mistake I could have made. Because unfortunately she didn't have the GC sort of thing. I mean, we had error after error after error, and ended up costing me a lot of extra money in the long run. And just
see, that's so hard to impart on people.
Yeah.
It's like you don't know until you have the wrong person.
Right.
And you don't know. That's the thing. It's like you're just,
and you're in.
You're in
it.
You're kind of stuck.
You're married. You're stuck.
You're having a baby.
And then, yes. And however much it costs or whatever.
The cake is baking.
Yes.
Right.
But I think, I said so many times, like, like this never would have happened with Lindsay. And
so sorry.
Just how professional, like you always were so professional. And it wasn't the same experience, and it was unfortunate. And so I would I would say to anybody looking to hire someone, you're not getting just, design. You're not just getting a mood board. You're getting somebody tried and true who has been in the industry for a long time, who knows what you're doing. And, if there was ever a mistake or something that you made, you owned it and you fixed it.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh yeah. Oh,
we're fixed this.
Backtrack and like recircle, regroup. And even, we made changes along the way. And like, I think, you handled that with so much grace. And I can't thank you enough for that. And I know,
at the end of the day,
all the time.
You got to get what you want, and I just,
Yes.
But I've got to tell you, hey, if you do this, then this. And then it's like, oh, okay, because I have that experience, I could say, okay, Amy, totally, I see it. But like, what about this? And then it's like, okay, let's figure out like what to do to get you to what it is that you're wanting.
Yes.
But yeah, thank you for sharing.
Yes. And I know that a lot of that comes with experience too. But
I don't, I still love you.
Are you mad I did my kitchen without you?
I'm not mad at all.
Okay.
I am not mad. Why would I be mad?
No, I know.
You've
it was such
got
a hard
to do what you need to
thing,
do.
But I just, with what was,
oh my
I just
gosh.
didn't want, and I knew it was
I
going to
hear
put you
you.
in, and I didn't want that.
I hear you. Yeah, I never want people to, you know me. I'm like, use me, don't use me. Like, it's fine. Like, just tell me. And
Yeah.
you told me. So there we are. But it's sad for me in a way now that I know, because you had to endure someone who didn't know what they were doing. And
Right.
that makes me feel like, oh, shoot. Because I never want, I think the first, well, a lot of my career, I was feeling like I had to prove myself, because in our industry, there's so many imposters. And there's people that just like are decorators or whatever, and they just like flood.
Yes.
And they're not true to like my industry in terms of moving it forward.
Right.
Or doing right by their client.
Right.
I mean, I hear horror stories and I have to go in and I have to fix it. Or in some things, I'm just like, I don't want this, or I don't want to take this on because it's hard. But it's hard because designers come in and it's costly, it's inconvenient, and it's a nightmare for you.
Yeah.
And if they don't have the right like mindset of just like, sorry, we're going to do this, then it just becomes this really big nightmare for you.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry you had to go through that. And it's a bummer.
I know.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I mean, it was a mistake
you
that
live
I
and you
won't make
learn.
again. I mean, and I think one of the things about it, when I started with her is it was, she came in with, a $10,000 retainer off the top. And I mean, I think that was, and then on top of that, really was really pushing for the most expensive tile and the most expensive fixtures. And, I'm okay with like one or two things.
Pushing it
even
high-low.
I think even like in the Texas house, like there were things that you sent that were like, that's going to be too high. That's going to be more than I can spend. But on others, like the brass fixtures, I did all the brass fixtures that you sent. I did the tub that you sent.
Yep.
Actually didn't. The tub that I ordered it, and then it ended up being on back order for a few more months. And so they had me
you had to go. You had to move.
Did a different one.
Yeah.
But same company and same look, same everything. But I think that was just, so crazy to me because I do feel like with all that we got from you from the first kitchen.
Yeah.
I was almost like, where is she getting paid? Like, I mean, seriously, like I didn't feel like, oh my gosh, we're paying this designer so much money or anything like that. It was just like, I mean, and I guess your fees must have been built in along the way, but there was nothing ever that felt like we
gouging.
were spending too much or gouging. And if there were things that, were too expensive, we talked about
tweaking it or using it sparsely or picking something else. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. It doesn't have to be expensive to have a designer. It just has to be in your budget. Yeah. And I think that's a lot of the stereotypes is that we're going to just give you a retainer and we're going to just like screw around and screw you.
Right. And that's very much how I felt.
Yeah, that's not what I do. And I think that's a 5 to 7 year lifespan of a business, which is typically an interior designer's lifespan. And why I have 22 years of not that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I mean, too, I think another, I love seeing the diversity of what you do. And because you can feel it in all the different homes that I know that you've done and the things that I've seen.
They're all so different.
Yeah. You really encompass, I mean, not just, obviously we were talking about like the time period of the house and, but also, the clients and, what they feel, I mean, I think at the time, Sarah and Andy, their house, beautiful, coastal, traditional. I mean, we wanted that, but we wanted just a little more modern too.
Yep.
And I mean, I think you were able to do that, seamlessly.
Yeah.
And then I watched what you did with their second house and putting that like fun, that spunk in there. That was
Sarah.
So like, it's just like, oh, Sarah, she's so beautiful.
Yes, she is.
And then
miss her.
I know, too. And then Annie's,
it's all different.
Mean,
yeah. You can't walk into a Lulu Designs house and go, "Oh, Lindsay did this." Like stamp. It's not same.
There are many designers that is. That's what they do. And they do it really well. It's not a knock. And if somebody really wants that look, I think it's fabulous.
Beautiful.
And you can just, this is what we want, walk away.
Yep.
But
bring your toothbrush. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. But I think that you have a really good eye for kind of doing all of it.
Thank
So,
you. You're so
yeah.
sweet.
Well, no,
No.
because when it came time for my Texas house,
Yes. Okay, so we did the kitchen, finished the kitchen, and it's beautiful.
we did. I mean, I think you helped me with the whole house
Yeah.
by phone within honestly, like when I called you. And, I just had a few questions about, do I keep the baseboards the same color? What color
Right.
paint do I use? And it was my grandmother's house, the house that I grew up in.
So sweet.
And
So
it was
sentimental.
amazing. Like the bones, the structure is so beautiful. And as a little girl, I just always had a vision for what it could look like and what I wish it would look like. And then, unfortunately, my grandparents and my dad passed. But then I got that opportunity
Sure.
to,
Huge.
purchase it and go ahead and make it into how I had always envisioned. And I swear it was like 3 minutes into the conversation and you just got it. And
Yeah. And it was all by
so-
phone and video and
it was all
and
by phone
photos,
and video.
text
Yes,
photos.
it was.
Yeah.
It
Because
was
we had that relationship before where you the trust piece was there.
Yes.
You'd had your other interaction
Yes.
with your other kitchen.
Uh-huh.
And then you were like, okay, well, I think us working together, I already got you.
Yes.
And then as soon as you send me a photo, I mean, it's a God thing. Like, I don't know how I do. Like, people are like, how do you do that? And I'm like, I seriously, I have no idea. But you sent me the photo and I was like, oh, okay, do this, this, and this.
Uh-huh.
And I instantly saw the entryway with the espresso color wood, which looked obviously in photos, it looks darker.
Right.
But I knew exactly what to do.
Yeah.
And you were like, wait, what? Oh, I would have done this, It
Yeah.
was so worth you just saying, okay, here's a picture. What do I do?
Yeah.
And it was that simple.
Yeah. No. And I mean, I think, the aesthetic right now is kind of like vintage, curated look too. But I don't think I realized at the time when I called you that was sort of coming back, even at all. And you started sending pictures and I was like, yes, yeah. You just got every part of it. And that was such an emotional project for me. Like it had to be perfect. And
you took the project management on. Because it was in Texas. It's in Texas.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a huge undertaking for you.
Yeah, that was.
But you're ready. You had some experience.
I won't do that.
Like, what would Lindsay do? Whoa.
Yes.
Wait, let me just call her. Yeah.
Yes. But no, I mean, the house is so beautiful. And, I'm using it as an Airbnb for now, that way I can still go back and enjoy it and have my time there. But everybody that's been in so far has commented on the details and, just how thoughtfully curated it is and that it has that feel and it has that feel. I mean, I feel it with, the love of my family, but I love that other people are able to feel it too. And it's just, it's so beautiful. It's beyond what I ever could have imagined. And
that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's why I do what I do. That's why you do what you do.
I know.
Like for that experience and that feeling and that magic. Yeah, that's so exciting. And we did, what's a little bit trending, right? For right now. It just happens to have its day right now.
Yeah.
But architecturally, it's sound. The choices that we made are more period, historical, and preserved in time. Is essentially, when you first sent me those pictures, I was like, oh my gosh, you have to keep this light. You have to keep this. You have to keep the integrity of that alive because that's what's going to pull at your soul when you walk through the door.
Absolutely.
Those different things and now you've done 3 different houses.
Yeah.
How cool is that in the last what, 5 to 7 years? And you have this house and this house and this house and you understand that you have to stay true to the bones of the house and the space that you're in, the context.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think that's really what makes the Texas house magical.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I think we were talking a little bit earlier about how we have clients, right? And it's client service.
Yeah.
And we're creative.
Yes.
And they come to us and they say, oh, well, can you do this, this, and this? And you're like, yes, I'll do it. Like, no, leave me alone.
Yeah.
I got it.
Just tell me, what kind of food do you want? What is your vision?
Yes.
Let me execute. I can do this for you. Tell me your budget. I need to know your budget. That is the most important thing. And nobody ever wants to give a budget. But do you find that people don't want to give a budget?
I would rather know.
Yes.
Because I'm picking this fixture or this fixture. And if I pick you this fixture and you need to afford this fixture, now you've wasted my time.
Right.
And it's almost rude.
Yeah.
Or maybe I've been just doing this too long and I'm over it. So it's like, just tell me what you could pay for.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Like,
because
you
I
don't
can
care.
work with any
I go,
budget.
same
That's
with
the
me.
thing. I can work with whatever
Happy
you've
to.
got. But I do have to make, I've got to make a profit on it. I mean, but
I have to
I
make
can
money.
I can make, mortadella amazing or salami in a can. You know what I mean? Like
Fine.
but
That's kind of where the creativity is the most like challenging and fun. Like
absolutely.
you could do, sometimes no budget is like, oh my God, you have no budget in this house. Like, that's so amazing. Or yeah, that's fine. But like, okay.
Then it's like, where do I pull from?
Yeah,
At least
then
if
I'm
I
like,
do have a budget and I know you want Italian food and you only want to spend X amount, then, I know what I can put together and make you a big, beautiful spread. That's not going to feel cheap.
right.
But
we don't do, no, I don't think either of us know how to do that. No. Or how we do know how to do it. We don't know how to make it look like that.
Cheap. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's interesting, the client service piece of what we do. It's
Yeah.
a lot the same. So how could we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Southern Belly Kitchen.
Okay.
My website is the same, southernbellykitchen.com.
Yes.
100 years ago, I wrote a food blog for Bosch Appliances.
You did? I didn't know this.
Yeah.
This little known fact.
Well, that's actually, I started doing that before I started catering.
Really?
And it was called Amy's Kitchen Table. And when I, stopped doing that with Bosch, they kind of kept that website for a few years. But they gave me all the recipes. And so it actually went to, I think I named it Southern Belly Kitchen was what I named that website. But it's, it's the old recipes that I wrote, an old food blog, and it's kind of boring, but some of the recipes are good. But anyway, they released the website a couple years ago. And so now all of those recipes that I wrote are back available on amyskitchentable.com too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You're a little blogger.
Yeah. I like cooking and preparing, and, feeding people a lot more than I liked writing about food. But
yeah, that's interesting. It's so crazy. I've known you for so long and I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for chatting with me today.
Thank you for having me.
And good luck.
Thank you.
Southern Belly Kitchen. And I hope that your Texas house is sold out every week, except for when you want to go.
I know, exactly.
That's the one thing. You probably can't go the weeks you want to go.
Well, that happened recently because I booked a week that I wanted to go, and then I and I was like, oh, I got to cut my trip short, but that's okay. I mean,
well, I'm proud of you.
Good. Thank you.
So exciting. Thank you so much for joining me. If you'd like to find more about me or my services, check out my website at luludesigns.com.